Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, For Honor Reactions 420 here, coming at you with, yes, another reaction today. We're looking at the balancing and improvements in the game. People actually asked me on my last video, react to the executions, if, I could react to, like, stuff on this, basically looking at nerfs, buffs, all that good shit. As a warning here, I did mention it in the comments of that last video, but I'm not going to do a video on the Jean Hu, because I actually did watch footage of it on my own time. So I wouldn't have a real genuine reaction. So that's the main reason I'm not doing that. But I am going to take a look at this stuff. I know people have mentioned, at least what I've heard, is there's like a Hitokiri nerf as well as like a Raider nerf. So I guess just speaking on that character first, I would like a couple things like that I would personally like if it's happening is for the Hitokiri, they got to fix like the heavy on red, basically. Maybe make the hyper armor come out later. I think that's one way to fix it. Probably the tracking on the heavies is kind of ridiculous. And honestly, the 50-50, I feel like shouldn't have gotten changed in the first place to where you can hold the kick longer and stuff. But those are just a couple things. There's a few other things that I would probably say. And then Raider, I know, is still another topic that people really dislike Raider. But I think maybe if they just, if honestly, if they just give him like a damage tweak, I personally think he'd be fine. But I know people really hate the stun tap. I don't know. Maybe they can eliminate like the stun duration, like reduce it. That could be a thing. But we're gonna go ahead, take a look at all this stuff. I know they said some buffs in there as well as some changes to some feats. So I'll just look at the whole thing. I'll cut it up, see what they have, and let's just get right into it.
The first PowerPoint?
Yeah,
Take it away.
it's not the first PowerPoint.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're gonna start off with the
First
nerfs.
up, we have Hitokiri. First thing we're doing is heavy opener. The minimum strike is now 800 ms.
Okay.
The unequivocal stance not only applies during the strike portion.
So what is the problem generally right
I don't
now
even know what
is
that means. Minimum strike is now 800 ms, was 700 ms. Uninterruptible stance now only applies during the strike portion. So, is that only when you're letting? It's only when you're letting the heavy go, not when you're charging it up? At least that's what I'm assuming. Let's go.
If you are a Hitokiri and you see a light attack or a heavy attack, you don't really care too much. Why? Because
It's very true.
when you see red,
Okay.
Heavy on red.
Clarissa, when
They
you see
literally know.
Heavy on red.
Mike, when you see red,
Heavy on red.
and chat, you know very well, when you see red,
Heavy
heard it?
on red.
Yeah, heavy on red. Heavy on red.
perfect. So here we're
At least
trying
they
to
understand it. You know what?
The
Fucking heavy on
unequivocal
red.
stance now only applies during the strike.
That's good stuff.
So the earliest you're going to see the armor applied is at 500 ms.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Should mean
I
you
was
can
actually
still
gonna
use
say
this
500 ms.
successfully in
I
good
know
fights.
before it was 300. So
that external
that's
attacks,
good to
run
see.
through. But if you're just trying to deal with one attack, you actually have to care, is it a light or a heavy, like a normal character?
Good.
this
Fucking
would be
thank
good
the
enough.
Lord. That's good
So
stuff.
Next up, the min charge chain heavy. The damage now is 28 instead of
Okay.
Yeah, so this looks like a small number.
Good enough. Yeah.
But effectively, it means if you're fighting a 120 HP assassin or something like that, it'll generally take you one more hit of some kind
That's good.
before this thing dies.
Gotcha.
I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
next up, we have Raider.
Okay. So
So stun is being
looking at that, I mean, obviously the main thing with that character is the heavy on red thing, but I still think like the tracking on the heavies is just weird. Like the animations are kind of wonky in my opinion. I don't know about them. And as well as like the kick mix up is like once you feint it, you get like fucking goddamn super teleportation guard break tracking. Once you cancel that, like you just hit the electric slide and go fucking forward, which that doesn't really make sense to me. I wish they would have kind of looked at that a little more, but for the starters, this is a good, I guess, baseline for them to kind of, at least start to tone down the character a little bit. So now, storming tap. What is this?
by storming tap, meaning that it will no longer stun, no longer pause stamina, and no longer drain stamina.
Exactly. So what we want
Yo, that's a fucking nerf and a half. Stunning tap is now storming attack. Storming tap doesn't pause the stamina, doesn't blind everyone. If you keep bitching about Raider after this, when everyone is like it's a freaking flashbang on my screen, I mean this right here, that's a pretty big nerf to the Raider. because that's one way where you can kind of get those mix-ups going in there, is when, you know, people are kind of have the stun effect to them. You can go with you know, maybe a heavy or a different light chain and stuff like that. So that's a pretty big nerf.
Want to do with Raiders stunning tap, aka storming tap now, is to retain how successful it is at actually hitting an opponent, but reduce quite a bit the frustration of being hit by it. Now, yeah, you're still going to be hit, but your screen's not going to turn white constantly. You're not going to have a really extremely difficult time with dealing with the second light in the chain. So we're going to see, I think, Raiders still be able to hurt people, but not.
Yeah, I still think with the hyper armor, Raider will still be okay.
Gotcha.
But that is a pretty big.
Tweaking the damage.
Oh,
Top heavy opener
told you,
damage is
damage
now
buff.
40, Side
Mhm.
heavy opener damage is now 35. Top heavy finisher damage is now 45. And the Raider Fury is now 44 damage.
Yep.
Okay, so we can look at that as well. So we now have top heavy opener. Who does a top heavy opener? Not too sure, unless they're like stunned by like a bear trap, or, you know, pushed up against the wall or something like that. Side heavies are down by 5. Still, that's a pretty big, you know, chunk of damage. Top heavy finisher, again, no one really does top heavy finishers, but I guess, yeah, that's fine. And then the Raider Fury, which I believe is the zone finisher, is 44 damage now, and that thing does fucking massive damage normally. So that is a nice little nerf to see in there.
So generally, I think
Still
you can
does
see
big
a lot of these
damage.
Heavies had kind of overtuned damage, so we're trying to bring that a bit more in line with the values that we think should be in this this kind of attack.
Okay. Next up. Blackfire.
Okay,
and
yeah, no, that's good. That's good on Raider.
The light into melee. The light attack opener recoveries now branch to Tenebrous Rising or Jotun Farewell at 266 MS.
Light attack opener recoveries now branch to Tenebrous Rising. Jotun Farewell at 206 MS. Does that mean you could get an option to dodge it easier, if that's what I'm saying?
Exactly. So the double nerf at once. Basically, what's happening is if these characters throw a light at you, and you do a very late stance change, and you still get hit by the light, then their melee is going to hit you 100% on live. With this change, it will no longer do that. You will actually be able to dodge.
Didn't they just change Black Prior in the last patch and make that fucking thing
Moving on to buffs.
200 MS? Like, literally, they made it 200 MS. Like, no, that was the issue with Black Prior. He had a you now only have 200 MS to fucking dodge Tenebrous, or is that something different? Because they just changed it and then reverted it back. It's okay. So oh god, Shaman
The
buff,
first thing we're
please
doing
no.
is we're increasing the
Yikes.
distance on Wildcat Swiftness, Heavy Starters, and Raven's Bile.
Don't give her
So
more distance.
Shaman's an overall good and strong character.
Fucking hell.
The problem majorly that she's got is like she wants to open with a heavy or heavy cancel into Raven's Bile. Problem is
that the soft feint?
Walking and trying to space them out. There's really not a lot that she can do other than just go for bash stuff. So here we want to kind of expand our options a little bit into what we're expecting to see.
Understood.
All right, so Raven's
Know
Bile
about.
and Claw. The side Raven Bile and Claw speed is now 466, but the top
Okay,
one
I
remains
mean,
at 400.
That's
So we haven't touched the
that's
top one,
fine.
it's still the better one. We've just slightly increased the side cancels so that they're a little more usable.
And lastly, the zone attack, the third and fourth hit are considered heavy attacks.
Yes. So the change
Okay.
is that previously zone attack, if you parried the first or second hit, it was always a heavy parry punish. And before the third and fourth,
That makes
it was
sense.
light
That
parry
makes sense to me.
punishes. Here we want it to always be zone attack is heavy parry punish, but of course the dagger cancels that could come out instead of the third and fourth hit are still lights as normal.
So we have
Okay, so there's one thing. They said that in there for the Shaman, if someone is backwalking, there's really nothing for a Shaman to do except fucking bash things. I mean, you can do the bash cancels into fucking, you know, baiting out your person into a GB. You can literally jump with super pretty fucking quick jump attacks. I don't think range was necessarily the fucking Shaman's issue. I agree with the other stuff. You shouldn't have one part of the zone be a heavy and then other part of the zone be a light. So that's a good change. And then the speeds on the side soft feints, those are fine as well. But I don't really agree with their discussion on the freaking the range is the issue.
coming up.
Ooh,
So
Warlord.
taking the heavy finishers recovery overall. So the
Again.
miss is now 800 MS. The miss now gets block defense back at 500 MS. The hit is now 700 ms. The normal block is now 700 ms as well.
Okay,
Inverse
so
block is
he
now
can
800
actually
MS.
sometimes counter guard
So
break on
we've
his
been,
fucking heavy finishers
giving
because
Warlord a number of adjustments
they're
over the past couple of
yeah, it's a
patches.
pretty long
The
recovery.
previous one that was in testing
Shugoki
ground
Demon's
that
Embrace still
went,
2000 MS, by the way.
live in the previous patch did a very similar thing with the light finishers in that
But this is a good
recovery
change.
was
The
very
good
short.
good recoveries on the
With
heavy finishers for sure.
We have Orochi.
Ooh,
So
ooh. Now we got Orochi. Orochi got a rework, but it didn't seem like it because Orochi fucking sucks. He's just not good. He's just not a good character. And then they're like, let us make light attack faster. But, you know, there's a thing in the game called blocking. And Orochi, I don't believe, has... Does he have enhanced lights? I don't think so. So, anyways, even if he did, it's still not that hard to block him after you block the first one. Then it's just pretty much an easy parry. So,
we are increasing the speed of his sprint.
okay.
And we're also tweaking Crashing Wave, which is
What
a sprint heavy. The strike is not 600 ms, and it has increased
Is that it?
distance.
Perfect. So
Is that it?
Orochi's one of the problems that Orochi faces
Is that it?
if an opponent tries to disengage or run away. Orochi has a difficult time chasing them down, and even when you get close, you've got a super long crashing wave that you have to throw. So this is kind of reduced with a bit more ability to actually hunt down and kill opponents who are weak.
All right. We're moving on.
That's
to
it?
Feat.
Okay, I guess not exactly what Orochi needs, but I get they're not trying to rework the character again. They just wanted some small changes. I mean, no one's going to use his sprint attack really anyways. I mean, if you get hit by Orochi sprint attack, I mean, you deserve to get hit by Orochi sprint attack. That's what I'm going to say right there. It's not the best. Even 600 MS is going to be still not that hard. They're just assuming you don't want people to run away when, you know, honestly, most of the time it's the Orochi running away. If I do think about it, most cases it's them. But I mean, I guess it's a slight buff, yes. So we'll move on to the feats. We'll look at the feats as well. See what's been changed.
First thing we're doing is heal on block. No longer triggered by.
Oh, thank the
Yes. So heal on block, we'll see a couple of feats that are like banned in.
holy shit, dude.
This is one of them.
The worst is going up against like a Conk
Being too strong.
or a
This is what
Hitokiri
happens
just
if
sitting in the
Hitokiri or
minions.
Hitokiri use this feat
That's what I'm
to sit
saying.
in
That's
mid
what I'm
and
saying.
block minions
Holy
over and
shit.
over again.
Oh my goodness.
And no matter how
Wow.
much damage you do to them,
Are they the only
basically
characters that have it?
you
Now that I think about it, but I don't know.
just by sitting in the lane. So
It could be.
you
I don't know.
have
I don't play the
battle, you
characters,
have
but
to actually block
yeah.
incoming attacks from
Holy
heroes,
shit.
And right now, that's the only way that you
Yeah,
can
that
do
makes it.
no longer soldiers, no longer allies.
That is a good change.
All right. So next up, we're changing morale booster and battle cry. So the attack.
Okay. Morale booster actually was busted. I know we'll listen to what they have to say about there. The buff is now 30%, was 50. I think that's good because you can stack it with other feats and get mega damage. And the duration has been decreased. And then battle cry. I'm not exactly sure what battle cry is. I think it's like one of the forms of almost like inspire type feats, but apparently it has been put down.
Right. So for scout.
Oh no, scout! Not my scout! No! Rith Valkyrie! I hate this. Wow! Scout's duration was 45 seconds, really? That is pretty long, I will say that. But the defense debuff is very less. Much less. I don't know. Depending on that, you might honestly want to go with Fire Flask then, because I mean you just have the opportunity to do more damage on that. I don't know the cooldown differences on Scout and Fire Flask, but that is good. And then Marked for Death, which the defense debuff. I mean Scout does mark people for death, which is wow. It was even higher on Scout because probably it was a 4th tier, but so it goes down to 15, just the same as there, and then the duration is down as well.
Defense debuff is now 15%. Duration is also 20 seconds. The defense debuff for Mark for Death is also 15%. And
Probably a good change in the end. Probably, because I've done
And in this case,
light attacks with like Scout that have done like 39 damage.
The other tournament banned one right
It's
now, and
pretty good.
The defense
pretty good.
Is the same as the attack.
Yeah, they probably do need to
Perspective.
toning down the ones that affect the entire map
Basically,
are
what you could have said
probably
with
a
Morale
good
Booster and Scout is suddenly like
a good
90
change
damage
in the
heavies,
overall
both are applied at once, which is
overall
way too
game
much 'cause
state.
You melt in 1, maybe 2 hits. By nerfing all of these, we should see a bit more reasonable state across this thing, and hopefully they will end up unbanned in tournament level play.
Cool.
Awesome.
We have
Alright.
we have one more here.
One more. So
Ooh.
Hitokiri's tier 4 feat, the cooldown is now 135 seconds instead of 90
Hmm.
seconds.
Yeah.
Perfect. No one's attempting to say this word.
No.
No. Okay.
Senbon Sakura.
But the tier
I'm
4
saying it.
was
I'm saying it
decided
right now,
based on
dude.
token.
That makes
I'm gonna be
sense.
happy
I
to
mean,
take 50%
I think
token based on that feat.
on my
Uh,
most
cooldown.
recent random
And this would be
character
good.
duels or random character dominion,
Gotcha.
when I
was gonna
got
say,
the
Senbon's
Hitokiri, I got the 4th feat, and then I think I used it 4 or 5 times. So it is pretty frequent when it comes up. So I think the cooldown is definitely in there. It's not like hard to dodge or anything, but like, yeah, the cooldown probably should have been increased. So that's a good change.
Oh, nice.
Look at that.
So is that it?
Oh, not too bad.
Is I think that's
Pass this
probably
over
it.
to Clarissa.
Which I think we're moving
The
on
materials
to some
change.
stuff.
So,
Oh my god.
That's a little.
That's
update.
kind of interesting. Just a material change right there. But yeah, those are some decent changes. Basically, I wish maybe or I'm hoping that in the future we can still get more in season patches or mid season patches as well to further tone down or bring up some characters. I always thought that was one of the main issues with the game, is that the balances didn't come in as frequently, and I know there are other stipulations with like console, you have to go through other like approvals and stuff when you actually patch your game, but I still think like only doing like one patch in a season, or one patch and then like maybe a mid-season patch at least would be still good. I would like to see them at least maybe like every like 3 weeks would be cool, but I know that might be asking for a little bit too much, but the changes so far, I do like them. I still think Hitokiri will be pretty good, but the heavy on red definitely takes like at least like maybe 10 IQ versus 3 IQ, so that's probably good. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop your stuff on there. What else do you think needs to get changed or buffed? Anything like this. This is probably the last reaction vid to the season 12 stuff that I'm gonna do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll be back to some normal videos either later today or tomorrow, something like that. But I appreciate you all. Make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. Your boy Tony. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.